Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I'm hoping you've all had a smashing Saturday. It is the 21st of January, 2023, and today we're going to be delivering another Algorand Algo video. You guys know that we started the year off aggressively putting out Algorand content, as I've expressed my opinion that Algorand will be one of the leading and winning cryptocurrencies out there. And we've actually expressed our thoughts and opinions on it being potentially the blockchain that central banks around the world, and we already have seen this maybe with what happened with Italy and their partnership with Algorand, Marshall Islands, a number of other reasons why I think this. We've actually expressed our opinion that we think Algorand is going to be likely the chosen one by central banks to operate and run CBDCs. And tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a quite in-depth video with some massive news that gives me further reason to believe that this is true. But today we're going to focus on Algorand and not really the TradFi space and their merging, more Algorand on its own merit and its DeFi ecosystem. Also explain, and this is actually a method that I use to pick out 100x altcoins. And it's actually by looking at blockchains that I'm interested in and looking at the small cap altcoins, the small projects that have just released that, you know, I think may have huge potential being built on top of a blockchain that I have very high hopes for. So we're going to do a little bit of that. The main focus of this video is going to be Algorand's DeFi space, which since the start of the year, and remember guys, we're only 21 days into the year, has 2x'd in price. At one point, we were at $73 million within Algorand's ecosystem, or DeFi ecosystem. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're at a whopping 179 million. So that's over a 2x, a 2.5 plus x in under a month. Is 2023 the year of Algorand, guys? Potentially. I have high hopes for this. We're also going to go and get into a bit of news, and I want to read. I think people miss a lot of the sort of core developments with the underlying blockchain. I've reached out to John Wood, and I'm looking forward to getting him on to talk to us about Algorand and blockchain in general. Of course, John Wood is the CTO of Algorand, and you know, somebody who I have been following for a long time when he was at Cardano, and now, of course, at Algorand, and somebody that I thought would be great to have on the show, talk to us about some of his views. I will also take a look at the price, because the cryptocurrency market is soaring. Just a quick update in terms of whether I bought or not. You know, I have been sharing this recently. This is from my Patreon. This is a discussion that we had on the 5th of January, where we were talking about buying cryptocurrencies again, and then we acted on it. So anybody who's kind of looking to take their investment journey seriously, certainly in regards to the crypto space, in my opinion, there's no better community out there than mine. You know, we are extremely crypto focused and very focused on getting the sort of investment thesis right. Bitcoin in this video was 16,800. Today it's up, you know, at 23,000, and potentially there is no signs of it slowing down. And also, I will totally be transparent and disclose that Algorand was one of the main altcoins that we loaded up at, just so you guys get a clear vision. Here's the 25th down here, you know, and you can see it's done rather well since then. Of course, we missed the bottom, although we did have community members that had a lot more foresight than me and bought here. So if anybody wants to get on board there, you feel free to do so. So let's cover the news, guys, and that is the fact that Algorand, and I've seen most people have missed this, its DeFi ecosystem is essentially 2.5x from the start of the year. And why is this? Well, there's some really exciting things happening. You know, Algorand is looking to supercharge its ecosystem. There's massive benefits to DeFi being built on top of Algorand. Its scalability, its security. And really, you know, one thing that I've noticed from the Algorand Foundation is they're very interested and vested in furthering adoption for Algorand and its ecosystem. They're speaking about developing their own stablecoin, although we do have some stablecoin protocols here, and a number of other things. I have actually used Algorand's DeFi ecosystem a number of times. My Algo Connect is a wallet that I've used. Also, the actual Algorand wallet. And actually, it's very fast and cheap to use. I think I have a number of Algorand NFTs. We sold basically the majority of our crypto holdings back in March 2022. And we only just bought back into the crypto space at the start of this month. So it's been a long time, something I'm over the moon about buying once again. But in terms of small altcoins, you know, I will look to pick them up at some point, and definitely some Algorand DeFi projects. But once I've got my blue chips accumulated, you know, the big caps like Algorand, whatever it may be, Polkadot, so on and so forth. But if you want to find a 100x or a coin that can actually do that, come and check out some of the ecosystems that are being built on top of, and some of the tokens that are attached with these DeFi ecosystems that are being built on top of these very prominent and promising blockchains. You know, Algorand has some absolutely great DeFi projects on it. I've used things like Folk Finance, Lofty AI, which I don't even think is on here. I've bought actually property shares with Algorand, which is a video that I'm going to do at a later date. So I have really used a lot of Algorand's DeFi space. You know, if we come over here and check these out, I'm not saying buy every project in an ecosystem. Do your research on them. Maybe actually, if you guys would like that, we'll do a top 5 Algorand altcoin video. And ultimately, you know, decide whether you want to be a buyer of these projects. So this, of course, is Folk Finance. You can find a number of them. You know, Algorand sort of has done a good job of telling you what they are themselves. They do have a number of dexes. Tinyman is a good one. Also, AlgoFi. I've used most of these. DFly as well. I used Yieldly like quite a lot last year and actually did okay from it. It's kind of a launch pad, maybe, I guess you would call it. You know, you've got the likes of stablecoins. So there's an Algorand native stablecoin. This is one that I've done a lot of looking into. You also have the likes of Tether, USDC. You know, Algorand's actually got really good stablecoin support, and I think that's going to continue to grow. Folk Finance, Algorand have something called governance. We need to do an entire video on governance, but the main purpose of the video is really to say, look, do not sleep on Algorand's DeFi ecosystem. And you might go, oh, well, everything's kind of gone up since the start of the year. No, everything hasn't doubled in terms of DeFi at the start of this year, by the way, guys. You know, let's just take a look at another altcoin. This is, and this is another reason I'm hugely bullish on Algorand. This, of course, is Avalanche recently partnered with Amazon Web Services. Their DeFi ecosystem didn't double. In fact, it went up by about 200 million. So that's about 20%. Not a 200, 150, 160%. You know, any DeFi ecosystem you could really pull up. Let's do Polygon, one of the bigger ones. Really nice run, but nowhere near a doubling. You know, Algorand's really catching a lot of steam. And you've got to look at these projects at 1 billion. Algorand is currently at, you know, under 200 million. What happens to Algorand and its price when its ecosystem is, you know, has a couple of $1 billion? You know, and I think it's going to become far greater than that. But what happens when its ecosystem has a couple of $1 billion in it? What do you think the Algorand price is going to be then? Very important comment for me to make. So this is pretty good news. I haven't really seen any Algorand content creators talk about the fact that this DeFi ecosystem has doubled, you know, since the start of the year. In fact, since January the 5th. So back to my Patreon, a bit of shameless shilling here when we were sort of talking about accumulating. Don't know why that's not coming up. But I just want to finish on this. In fact, we've not mentioned this. This is C3 Protocol announced. C3, a self-custodial exchange providing a secure, transparent, and trustless platform for trading. This is built on top of Algorand, of course. And I think that there's not really, in my opinion, anybody who I would trade with in a decentralized manner yet. But this is one that I'm certainly looking at. So I use CEXs for trading because I trust them a lot more than a lot of the self-custodial ones. In terms of to not run away with my money, we didn't get involved with FTX. You know, we stick, you know, to Binance and the sort of Bybit major exchanges if we're trading the futures market. But this is certainly interesting. Something I think could actually do quite well, and it being built on top of Algorand, it's really going to further the adoption and usage of Algorand. And just to finish on this, the reason why Algorand's going to do well is because it's just gone from strength to strength. A lot of people don't know that Algorand had a recent protocol upgrade that took it from 100 or 1,200 TPS to 6,000. And you got to remember, you do have other projects like Solana that promise this kind of speed. But Solana, it's like it stops and starts. You can't have and be looked at serious as a layer one with smart contracts that's going to allow for this kind of... Why would anybody seriously build on top of Solana if they don't know whether it's going to work or not? Whereas Algorand has literally been running now for, I believe it's 4 or 5 years, without any downtime. Forkless upgrades and continues to go from strength to strength. It is a beautiful design, pure proof of stake, something we've explored and we may explore again. I'm going to go get ahead and get rid of my face, guys, and read this out, and then I'm going to love and leave you. Do not sleep on Algorand. In my opinion, and lots of people are feeling like they've missed out on Algorand. The price, it's literally, the price today is where it was just over a month ago, 2 months ago. So you haven't missed out, in my opinion, yet, but you may moving forwards. But we will keep you up to date on that and maybe do a separate price video for Algorand. So huge news about its DeFi ecosystem doubling. Let me just read this and then I'm going to love and leave you guys because many people miss this. With today's release, Algorand proves once again that decentralization does not need to come at the cost of performance or security, said Silvio Macali, founder of Algorand. Interoperability between blockchains is the future, and algo state proofs are critical security features for communication between networks. We're extremely proud of this innovation and believe it will push the entire blockchain landscape forwards. We are going to do a totally separate video. We've got a huge news video coming out tomorrow for Algorand, and then we're going to do a totally separate video on proof of state proofs and how this is potentially how interoperability may work in the crypto space. And then we have this kind of Wi-Fi connective moment. It has, interoperability is the future for crypto. You can't just have these siloed ecosystems. Everything needs to connect. Otherwise, how is it going to be a sort of global way to transact value on these immutable blockchains? So in terms of performance, today's protocol upgrade increases Algorand TPS from 1,200 to 6,000, allowing organizations building on Algorand to continue to scale to meet growing demand for Web3 applications. Compare this to Visa, which typically facilitates between 1,500 and 2,000 transactions per second, or Bitcoin, which processes about 5, and Ethereum, which rarely exceeds 10 TPS. Algorand's already scalable, by the way, guys. People are sleeping on this. This upgrade marks another major milestone on Algorand's roadmap achieved, said Paul Regal, Chief Production Officer at Algorand. From state proofs, which are a game-changing blockchain interoperability security feature, to increased TPS, we are unlocking the tools required for Web3 applications to fulfill their vast potential. Algorand has experienced zero downtime since launch, helping it become the blockchain of choice for thousands of organizations launching DeFi protocols, NFTs, payment solutions, regulated digital assets. Remember, we've got a video coming tomorrow about this specifically, and more. The network supports applications that can scale to billions of participants, all on a high-speed, carbon-negative, secure, stable network. Algorand is the future, in my opinion, guys. It's going to be a massive winner in the Web3 space. You're either on the winning team or you're not. I believe Algorand's going to do absolutely perfectly. On that note, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always greatly appreciated. So is a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.